Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Minister of the Covenant, break our 7 seals. Brothers and sisters, follow from yesterday, and it's going to be about the rest of the week, because I got lots to talk about, much to talk about. But today I want to focus, I'll give you a summary of what you can expect.
And Allah is.
I'm going to summarize it the best I can. But some background. We said an angel. Angel is the Arabic word for gospel. According to them, that's the book that was given to Jesus. But in their theology, the book was lost because they don't see the book of Revelations as the angel. Right? They dismiss the Bible almost all totally, even though the Quran says you're not a believer unless you believe what was real to you before you. So they're very mixed up over there. Some of it intentional. But that's what the angel means. It's the gospel. It's the Arabic word for gospel, and it's actually the book of Revelations, right? Okay. So, now, that's the light that will be given, because it said, they say in their theology, right, that Jesus and the Mahdi, they will be together at the end. That's what they're saying. So they say the Mahdi is a descendant of Prophet Muhammad. And then you have the Jesus. And yeah, that's Anyway, as they say, an angel is this light. See, the Mahdi is really a warrior figure. But Jesus is supposed to be enlightening. He's supposed to come with this great light that enlightens people, right? Provide guidance, where the Mahdi is actually supposed to be like a warlike figure. And that, there's some, if you understand loosely, that's pretty much it, because you would have the Minister of the Covenant who would bring the light, and Master Muhammad, he's bringing war. So if it's loosely, in general. But this light is supposed to be a bright light, extremely bright light. Now, light's not bright if it's colors. The brightest light you can get is the white light, pure light. You get all colors, you get red, blue, but the brightest light there is pure. No colors or anything, it's just pure light. And the last book of the angel, chapter 22, tells you, you can't even change one word or you'll be cursed. And see, we got people who don't understand that. And they think that's a joke. And they don't think if it says you're going to be cursed, you're going to be cursed. That's why I tell people, don't mess with this book unless you know what you're talking about. Even one word, because it's a bright light. You put filters and everything, you like those, you diminish the light. Like I was over to visit Farrakhan's people a few years back in New Jersey, and I visited in New Jersey and in Florida. He's your minister, right? He said, slave was 400 years ago. Now, whether he was doing that intentionally or not, he was wrong. Because this is what, in other words, if you're in a battlefield and you want to kill the enemy, you don't want to shoot him in the foot. You don't shoot him in the leg, you want to shoot him in the heart or in the head. And make sure that, because you out there to put him down, not to wound him, put him down. And so if the battle is a mind war, you understand the nature of it. If, you know, you guys, if you fight an enemy, you got to understand the nature of the enemy and know what it is to take to put him down. So as a man, right, a person, in, you know, heart, brain, put him down. That's what you're going to shoot for. See? If it's a lion, it's hard to get to the heart because of the structure of the lion, right? So you have to know the enemy, you know, and what it takes to eliminate them. So when you understand, see, most people don't understand the difference between the mind. They think the mind and the brain are the same thing. It's not. Brain is mind is software that feeds the brain. It's like you have software in your computer. You have the main drive, you got the hard drive, and you got the operating system. Operating system controls, it feeds information to the hard drive. It's the operating system. Your mind's your operating system. And that's going to determine how you operate. Your brain's just going to calculate. That's all it just gets a calculator. It just calculates. It calculates. So if you get bad information, it's going to calculate bad information. And they have a saying for that, garbage in, garbage out. You get bad information, you're going to end up with bad decisions. The brain may not realize it's bad information. You know, the brain set up the check, right? But our brain has been, that aspect to check the information coming in has been disabled. And that was given our parents to do. Because we trust them, so they say, don't pay attention to this stuff, don't pay attention to that, so we don't even give it a thought. It may be true information. They say, well, accept this, accept that. But who's controlling them? The enemy. So the enemy tell them, the stuff that's good for you, hey, don't listen to that stuff. And stuff that's bad for you, yeah, that's what you're listening to. And then so now they taught you to hurt yourself because you're accepting bad information and dismissing and won't even allow good information to come in. Don't mess those Muslims over there, so you don't even pay attention to it. Right away, they come, you reject, you don't want to hear it. But leave that preacher say, he come over there, and who's the preacher? He's your enemy. Who put us in this situation? Was it the Hindus? Was it the Buddhists? Who tortured us and murdered us and terrorized us for hundreds of years? It was the Christians. So now we're going to believe in them and their God? That sounds kind of, but that's the way the case is, because our mothers and fathers did that. They taught our mothers and fathers this, it disabled our ability to examine information. So when that brother comes and says, hey, slave was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. It sounds, but the brain calculates that. And so therefore, that's what, and so you may not, it may have seemed, you say, oh, it's a small thing. No, it's not a small thing. What he meant, I don't care what he meant. The brain don't know what he meant. The brain only knows the information that it received. It probably don't know the intention of it. You know, like somebody run over your car. I didn't mean to hit you. Okay, you didn't mean, but is that going to solve my problem? That going to make me walk again? See, because all this kind of stuff in there is in the language. Part of it, the English language is a contrived language out of all other languages. And it's designed primarily to keep you confused. Because a lot of stuff in there wasn't even in there 500 years ago. Like good morning, they did not greet themselves with good morning 500 years ago. They did not do that. That was designed for you, to test you, to see if you was upset after you just got beat all night, whipped, your mother got raped, right? Your father got whipped, your baby brothers got fed to gators, and you better say, yes, oh, good morning, yeah, good morning. Well, no goddamn good morning. We haven't get a good morning since we've been here. So how the hell are you saying good morning? But that's what it said. That was a test. You better say, yeah, good morning, boss. Oh, ooh. This language. And language is full of excuses. And our pure language, that we're pure tongue, there will be no way, there's no way to express excuses. This language is full of excuses. That means excuses allow you not to do the right thing. Allow you to stay ignorant. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to do this. And you teach your children to make excuses, so now they're excused, they're failures. Because if you have, only way you continue doing the same wrong thing is you keep excusing your failures. If you can't excuse your failures, then you correct them. I got a family member saying, just kind of all excuse. And I would say, there's a child. Do not teach that child to make excuses. But I was overridden. And that's all that person, total failure. One failure after another, and there's got an excuse for every one of them. My father didn't have any excuses. I don't make excuses. I said, you hear me making excuses? I don't use that word, I'm sorry either. That in itself. Because the original meaning of the word means you were sorry, means you were sorry for me. You're not sorry, but you was pathetic. That was the original meaning of the word. Now, it may still be in there, but they say, well, they have another, like love. Okay, love also means having sexual intercourse. God love everybody. How's the word going to be, two words mean the same thing? You got that kind of stuff. And all that stuff to keep, either slow your ability to calculate or distort your ability to calculate altogether. And then drugs and everything come in to corrupt it. So even if you got good information, right, your hard drive is corrupt. All this is to keep you under control. That's what it's all about. So he just said, hey, okay, slaves 40 years ago, that means, hey man, everything's been cool for the last 40 years. That's what you're saying. I don't give a goddamn what you meant. That's what you said. Slaves 40 years ago. No, it started 400 years ago. You can't just go say anything. The angel tell you can't say anything. It's a mind war. And the point is, you putting that information there, and you say, maybe you meant that, but that brain's going to calculate that. And how you and that person going to go along later on and say, oh man, boy, I'm glad slavery was 400 years ago, man. That's wow. That's 40 years ago, see? And so they think everything's been cool for the last 400 years. Because you're talking out your ass. If you do that, get away from the angel. Because it said you'll be cursed if you're doing that. Okay? They play all those tricks all the time, like they play a trick about Master Muhammad. I'm not sure, maybe I'll get a chance to show that today. That's what Mark was doing. The lesson say the devil, when they talk about devils, they talk about the Caucasian white man. And you wonder why would they say the Caucasian? That's another story together. But they say that's what they say it is. So that's what the lesson say. But then Malcolm was the first one to try to use that against the messenger. Because he intentionally went over to the Middle East. See, you don't know the whole story about that. I'm going to move on, brothers and sisters. When I was growing up, I'm 76 years old. Everybody in the Middle East, you saw the story of Sinbad and Open Sesame, all that kind of stuff, right? See? All that stuff was like the Arabs over there, but they didn't use the word Muslim. So I didn't know what a Muslim was, right? But they was always white. So our assumption was everybody over there was white. That's why I assumed everybody, right? But after Elijah came, now I wasn't around when Malcolm was there. I didn't get into 70. Right? So Elijah Muhammad corrected that. So when Malcolm went off, see, to try to turn Elijah to a lure fool or a liar, he goes out and says, go to Arabia and come and say, man, everybody was here white. And says, and they're Muslim. Well, Elijah Muhammad said, white people are devils. See, he's a trick. So he don't know what he's talking about. Why he gonna call these people they Muslim? He said he's Muslim, and white people are devils, but they are all white people here. Because that's not what the lesson say. And then Wallace, when he came in, he took a step further. See? I mean, like Muhammad was, didn't know what he was talking about, or hypocritical, whatever. And Wallace took a step further, and so did Farrakhan right behind him, because he was Farrakhan's ringman. I mean, Farrakhan was Wallace's ringman. Well, see, Elijah Muhammad talk. We got the tape saying it, so they can't say we got to tape him and Farrakhan Wallace right there saying it, right? That hey, well, I could believe that's his son saying, who was officially banned from the temple altogether. How you get charged? That's another story together. He wasn't supposed to be. He was banned. He was officially banned. Missed it. Banned permanently. He couldn't even see his own family. He missed it. He said, "Well, see, how can white man be a devil when Master Muhammad's white?" That's not what he said. See, that's the game he played involved, and Farrakhan's right behind it. So that shows Elijah knows what he's talking about. And he says, Master Muhammad, he's white. He must be a devil. But if you listen to what let's say, that's not the issue. Because his father was original, so it doesn't matter. It's not a skin color thing. But that's where he made it to undermine Elijah and everything else. And I'm guilty to a certain extent because Farrakhan went out, continued using it. Somehow. He messenger told me, stop calling white people devils. See, and I had to learn. I got to learn those lessons right there, guys. You know, because you got to be careful because you can't let emotion blind you. Because I knew he was lying, and so right off the bat, I said, "No, you lying," because I knew. But basically, he wasn't lying. See, I need to look a little deeper. He wasn't lying. No, his intention. The intention was the same. But the problem is, Elijah's mom did tell him, "Don't call white people devils," because he was talking about what I just said. Because that's what Malcolm was doing every day. That was wrong. Because white people ain't devils. They could be, but that's not what the lessons say. And by them saying that, that means they could say Master Muhammad's a devil too, because he's white. His skin is white. He said, "Stop doing that." He told him, "No, you just say the lessons say the Caucasian. Put that in there." So he did. So Farrakhan kind of get him right and said, "Yeah, he told me that," but he didn't tell the whole story. He didn't tell the whole picture. He just said, "Yeah, he told," but he just told me if I'm say the Caucasian. See what I'm saying? So I don't make that mistake again. Because they know he told him that, but Farrakhan didn't tell the whole story. So he make it look like, oh no, we just don't call them devils anymore. When no one else was told that but him. You understand? That's why I looked at it. See? Got to put that Caucasian part in. So that was a lesson for me. I'll make that mistake again. If you understand what I'm saying. But he told him to stop calling him because he was telling him, no, you got to say it right. But Farrakhan said part. He says, so the idea is white folks ain't devils. See? And then on his, let me speak to him on a minute. Well, no, I'll move on. I'll get back to that. So I'm going to give you a brief, because it's going to take a while, so I'm not going to do the whole, if I did everything I have here to talk about, it'd be 3 or 4 hours, probably 5 or 6. So I probably got a little section thing going here, right? So I'm just going to do, like I said, I'll probably finish up the rest, I'll probably continue to get done for the rest of the week. But I'm going to take these brief notes I made here. See, understand what's going on right now. To give you a general idea of what's going on right now. Because we in apocalypse right now. We've been in abomination desolation for over 1.5 years already. Okay? And they're not talking these things. Even though obvious. But they can't talk them because that'll wake you up. And that's This is what you are what this is all about. You are the center of what this is all about. And they don't want you to know that. You're the center of what it's all about. The scripture tell you that too. What's on the bottom is going to be on top. It's on the bottom. How it's going to get on the top? It's got to knock everybody down and do it. He said, if you're on the bottom, it means all the nations on top of you. All the nations. He says, all the nations are going to be judged. But you don't. The whole idea is to keep you blind to who you are. Understand? Just look at this. You go in Abraham covenant, which they don't talk about. Martin Luther King had his hair blown off because that was his last speech, so-called promised land speech. Some other call it different terms. He went. We got the picture. He went and talked to Elijah Muhammad. Whatever he did inspired him to speak to it. He spoke to it. He says, we're going home. He said he might not be here with us. I can't quote exactly. But he's leaving here. And next day, you know, his head was blown off the next day. Not supposed to tell it. Right? Because that would mean we must be Abraham's seed. Can't be. If you look at all the scripture and everything else, you see it's all about us. Abrahamic covenant says, for 400 years, we've been in captivity and servitude to these people and afflicted by them. 400 years. That's why they do it all out the way to stop this 1619 project. Because if you go from 1619 to 2019, and a plague would start, the plague came immediately after that, 2020. And it wasn't killing original people. Africa was not affected by it. Haiti wasn't affected by it. You can all just check the World Trade Organization, go Google it, and they hear that from you too. They say you were dropping like flies. That's another story together. Okay? And so your rise is what all the nations want to prevent. Because you was pushed down to the bottom, you're the ruler, you're the God. That's what the lessons say, and that's a fact. But you've been reduced to nothing. And so now you're rising. All the religions teach that, but you just don't understand how to teach it. Now, let me don't get distracted here. Because there's so much brother and sister, I mean, it's all out there. It's all over the place. So how come you don't see it? Because all the nations, they spend all kinds of energy to make sure you never. Where's the promised land? Promised land is Arabia. That's what it says. River Euphrates and River. If you go to the map, that's Arabia. So how come they say that these people that say they're Jews? How come they Jerusalem? See, that's another distraction. That's not their promised land. Okay? So in other words, you're trying to diversify. Even if you work up, you go to the wrong place. And what you have is you got Arabia. They paying huge amounts of money. They paying Farrakhan. They pay Wallace. Because if you ever go to Wallace's so-called masjids, you ever been to any of them? No, I haven't been to one in several years. But when you go to them, they'd have people from Arabia, costume and everything, dressed up in the back. They're not bound for praying. When you out there, they praying. You in there in their little mosque chairs, you're sitting down. There ain't no chairs or anything. Sitting down like they're doing their so-called mosque. And they're sitting back in chairs. They monitor, order everything you're doing. Make sure you ain't teaching that going back home stuff that Elijah was teaching. They was in there and they paying off Wallace to stop you from thinking that way. Because that is our land. You got our brothers east side in Africa. You know, they betrayed us. Got brothers in Arabia, there's the Arabs, they have brothers, same thing. Why is everybody against us? Praise over to Egypt. They afflict us 40 years. So let's bring up the present. Okay, we spent 400 years Holocaust. I didn't spell that right. I'm gonna spell it. Hold on. I'm trying to focus all my attention on this spell. That's what I'm doing. So I can't blame anybody else because I make mistakes, being distracted. That's my fault, right? Because I can stop it. Take this real quick. It'll take a second. It's my word I made up, but it's a fact. It's factual words that what happened. So I mean, why should I misspell it? Mm-mm. Well, I spelled it right. Oh no. Okay, I'm leaving it like that. I may have been spelled it wrong all the time anyway. I don't know. Okay. Mm. Okay. Yeah. So they declared war on us probably 40 years ago. They declared war on us. Who declared war on us? Was the Hindus? I mean, they all have a hand in our demise, but it was the Christians that declared war on us. Hair crossed around their necks. Christians. They brought us over here. They beat us and tortured us. And how do you maintain that kind of condition for 40 years? With terror, 24/7. So they terrorized us for 24/7 for 400 years. They're a terrorist nation. They raped our women relentlessly. Right? They raped us. They threw our children to fed the gators. All this documented stuff. 40 years. So slavery wasn't 40 years ago. It began 40 years ago. So you probably have some people walking around and say, yeah, man, well, we cool now, man. These devils, they've been cool for 40 years because some fool said slavery was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. It began 40 years ago. That's why I say don't mess with any word. There's a Holocaust. Now, for every action, there's an opposite reaction. See, the Christians call this period of grace. And see, you don't understand what they talk about. Maybe they don't either. They say this is a period of grace. What's grace? Grace means a period where you don't get a consequence for what you do. That's what grace is. You don't pay the price for what you've done. That's grace period. Grace period, if you get a rent grace period, that means you ain't got to pay rent during that period. You got to, see what I'm saying? That's what grace is. So they call this a grace period. That's what Christians teach it. But why was it a grace period? Because according to Quran, the angels was told to submit to this rabid dog, Adam. He said he was misshed. If you shed blood, he's a murderer. If you shed blood, make mission, he's a liar. So I don't know, maybe that's a bad translation they give it, but the translation they give it is make men shed blood. It means he's a liar and he's a murderer. And that's what Jesus said. That's what Jesus said about them. You're liars and murderers. That's not them. He's talking about the whole group. You're liars and murderers. But we're supposed to submit to that. We're supposed to fight back on that. So that will corrupt us too, right? But we can't be held guilty for what we do if we submit to that because we was told to do it. So if that's Allah's will, to know that submitted to that, they're the Muslims. If that's what Muslims mean, submit entirely to the will of Allah. So angels that submitted to that, they're the Muslims. Well, see, how does that make any sense? Because you still flatlining, you still got a two-dimensional mind, you understand the math of it. It doesn't say you're Muslim if you believe in Islam. It says you're Muslim. Muslim means submit entirely to the will of Allah. That's what it means. And so Iblis, who said, hey, he don't keep practicing Islam. He ain't gonna submit to Adam. Well, God cursed him, so he wasn't a Muslim, was he? He's got trappings of Islam. I'm gonna keep practicing it. You see, if you look along those lines and say, damn, if you follow that logic, and there's nothing wrong with that logic, the whole world turns upside down on it, don't it? Because the black people over here, the original black people over here, that's running around acting crazy, got cross around the neck and everything else, because if they submit to them, they'd be having their cross around the neck too. All this stuff, right? They're the real Muslims. And they ain't sinful. They did what God told them to do. Farrakhan, you're so sinful, you gotta atone. He's the accuser of our brethren. But the Sunnis over there, I got Islam, I got the Quran, I got the Mecca, I got the Ramadan. They're not Muslim. Because I ain't submitting to that stuff. Well, how do you deal with that? Am I saying something wrong? Is the logic wrong? Because you can't apply logic over there. But if you say Islam is mathematics, Islam, you got to go with the law. You got to go with the math. If you say Islam is mathematics and Islam, you got to go with the math. So is there anything wrong with that math? Does it not add up? And furthermore, Adam, he got his democracy, he got the capitalism and all that stuff, banking system, usury and all that kind of stuff, right? He got all that, right? And the only nation on this planet that resists all of Adam's doings, and remember, Adam is ruling now. They say Adam, he's ruling. They say, oh, angels, no. Adam, his bliss, all of us, the angels, talk to. We're the angels, and we're the ones submitted. They say, well, Adam was all humanity. Is all humanity ruling the planet? Who's ruling the planet? Gog and Magog. Chapter 20. They came out and they would cover the whole planet. America and Britain. There's only two world empires that you ever know about, ever. That's America and Britain. Only two. Global empires. Not Genghis Khan, not Alexander the Great. There wasn't global empires. Only been two. British said the sun never selling the British Empire, America, now they're global. So that's Gog and Magog in chapter 20, which is actually history, not something going to happen in the future. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not all humanity. All humanity is not ruling the planet. So that means everybody else is angels. And they say, well, Bliss is not an angel. Well, how does that work? I want all you girls to submit to going to this gym class. Now, or you go now, or you leave and go to the gym class right now. So they go. So the boy's still sitting there. Okay, or you going to detention. Why? Because you didn't go to the gym class. You didn't tell us to go, you told the girls to go. You see how it goes? So how in the hell is this Bliss not an angel if he gets mad at him, God gets mad at him because he don't do what he told the angels to do? He's an angel too. You see? But you can't say that, you can't talk mathematics over there because they cut your head off. Because it's supposed who they are. That's why the prophet said most of them are going to hell anyway. It says right in the deed. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So that tells you, that's why it says Elijah Muhammad said you get a new mind. Because they're going to start thinking clearly. Three-dimensional. So it's two-dimensional thinking. Because that's disrupts everywhere you see. What I just told you itself disrupts everything you've been told. And but it makes sense. Because what's been told before, you can't make sense of it. Because you're walking around blind, you got this stuff. I got Islam, I got the Quran, and you walk around blind, you don't have any idea what's going on, you don't know what's going on right now. This stuff, of course, you're for God. I've been telling you, explaining you, 35, I got proof. You could just go out there and check my video page. You see, I've been talking about this war for years. Exactly where who's going to be involved and everything else is happening right now. We're in it right now. Apocalypse has started. It would begin with the abomination desolation. And now it's going to get intense. It's going to be very intense. We're going to get to that. So, grace means, a period where you don't have to pay for what you've done. That's consequence. Because consequence is actually the essence of God. Because that consequence is universal. I mean, there's no way around it. You can call it Jesus, you can call it life, you can call it she, how cool you want to. There's a consequence to everything you do. Every act has opposite equal reaction. The Bible tells you too. It says you reap what you sow. It says God is not mocked. That means there's no alternative to that. They say you reap what you sow. God is not mocked. That means there's always a consequence to what you do. Period. No exceptions to that. They tell, well, all you got to do is believe in Jesus. Okay, well, you go with that if you want to. There's a consequence for that too. See? So, that means, it said they're going to be judged. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what they did to us, there'll be a consequence. But since we submitted, that means the consequence will be, we're going to internalize it. So if somebody hits you, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, somebody hits you in the mouth, and you have to right back instantly, because consequence is instant. Every action has opposite reaction. But if you don't hit them right then, that means they got a grace period. For as long as you hold that punch back. As long as you hold that punch back, but sooner or later you're going to do it. So if you wait a year, then boom. So that's the grace period, because they just didn't get, you didn't retaliate. That's what angels told to submit. Don't retaliate until Adam's time is over. But look at it another way. If I punch you in the face, bam. Now you can punch me back in the face, same intensity. A 5-pound punch, 5-pound punch back. If I do a 6-pound now, now you can punch me back for a pound. Because it's got to be balanced. It's going to be balanced. You pay for everything you do. It said they had no fear of consequence. No fear of God means they had no fear of consequence because they was two-dimensional mind, don't understand it. But we have an understanding of consequence by nature, the original people. But if I punch you in the face every day for a year, boom. One time every day, 12 o'clock every day, bam. Noon time every day, bam. And you don't do anything. So after a year, I'm going to punch you 365 times. 10-pound punch. 10-pound punch. So altogether, a total of that was 10 times, that's 3,650 pounds of force that applied to you. That means you can apply 3,605 pounds back to me. You can punch me every day for a year. Or you can do it all at one time. Whoa! What if you do it one time? Because if I do it one day, you can heal, right? You recover. If I do it all at once, like, you dam something up, you dam up a river, that's what it's all about. To submit. Okay? So therefore, bam, now. And so when the time comes after 40 years over, then we let that dam loose, bam! Total destruction. That's that time of unprecedented trouble because the consequence has been building up for 500 years. So you got 500 years of, remember it says dead struggle come in one day, in 1 year. So you got 500 years squeezed into one, god damn. Can you even imagine that? That's why it's unprecedented. That's what's struck me so great because all they've been doing 500 years has been dammed up. But see, you understand? Personification. See, we gods, we personify everything so we can see it. So we can visualize it. Ain't no mystery gods and stuff. So in other words, like for instance, when we went to energy deprivation, I'm not going to go into ours. I just get a little hit by the universe expands and contracts. As it expands, it means more energy energy less here. So at some point we get to the point where we don't have that much energy anymore. It takes energy to maintain a family, it takes energy to go to the bathroom, it takes energy to think, everything. So as the energy diminish, then you have less ability to do those things. That's why you descend into religion. You lose control. After a while, we get so bad that we lost control of ourselves. So the point is, that means that we got all this negative energy now, because if you don't have enough, and in other words, if you need to have 1,000 a day, but you only got 500, But you take 1,000. I mean, you got. Well, say put it this way, you need 1,000, right? But you only getting 700. You only got enough energy to get. But so now you still got to survive. So you take extra energy. So now you got a debt. You owe 300. That's a negative energy. Negative energy is called bad luck. Right? So you're in a period of bad luck. And we was in a period of bad luck for 40 years. Right? You know what I'm saying? So you got that you create that situation. Okay. So they guys over here. No, put another way. We over here. No, let me just do the personification part before I go any further. So what happened is that all this negative energy we got now because so we're under their control. But the thing is, remember, the negative energy, if it's going to come in form of famine, it come in form of disease, it come in form of all kinds of different things. It's negative energy, so it can come in all kinds of forms. But if you make a person that has a negative energy nature, then you can see it. Then you can visualize, because otherwise you don't know where it's coming from. Man, we're going to have a famine, we're going to have a hurricane, have an earthquake. So you always wonder, you don't know where it's coming from. You know it's coming, you just don't, right? But if you have an individual, a personification of it, then you can always see it. So you're not the mystery of where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from, and you can see it. And the other side of that is that when you overcome the negative energy, that, because like I said, if it's just, you don't have, it's not personification, all of a sudden, right, then you have what? You don't know when it's over. You don't know when the famine stop happening. You don't know when all you know is, okay, it looks like it's getting a little better now. You don't know. But if you personify it, then you know when it starts, when it's over. And that's why we made Adam. Misery shed blood, because he's the personification of our disadvantage, our energy deprivation period. Right? So he'd afflict, so in other words, instead of being famines and diseases like there, we'd be afflicted by that person to the extent of the negative energy that we afflicted by. Right? Okay. So that means, right? What does that mean? It also means, since their personification, then when the time comes, we start coming out of that, then we're the personification of the consequence. We're the personification of the consequence. Because the thing is, they're going to suffer for what they did to us. Because remember, we were sitting back, we was holding it back. Because we wouldn't hold it back, then they would have took and, right? It would have been a fight between us, so they've been a constant fight for 500 years. They hit us, we hit them back. We get a bad end of that because we got negative energy, but constant, you see what I'm saying? But by us holding back, right? That means, remember, they're afflicting us, they're taking something from us and afflicting us, they're taking something from us that don't belong to them. You have to understand the balance of pressure, but I don't want to go into. Anyway, they take something, they take from us, and without going to the specific math consequence, right? Because you took something that don't belong to you. That's another way of consequence. So they raped us, beat us, all that kind of stuff, afflict us, all that kind of stuff, right? So we didn't take revenge, so it built up. Right? But since they're the personification of what they did to us, we're the personification of. So that means once the time comes and that dam breaks, then we do to them, like the Bible says, doing them is double they done to you. But how is it double? See, because they were supposed to, two things, we were supposed to serve them and they afflict us too. So that's double. Because affliction means they took more than they were supposed to do. That's why it's double. That's why it says double. See? Because they did more than they were supposed to have done. They were supposed to oppress us, enslave us. But if you look up slavery, it doesn't include rape, murder, all that stuff. See, they call it slavery. No, they did those Holocaust because they raped all that stuff added to it. That's the affliction part. You read every comment, you got the servitude and affliction. So they got to pay for both of those. That's why it says do double as they done you. So we'll do it. So understand that. So the thing for them is to keep the grace period going. Keep the grace period going. Think about that. Keep the grace period going. That means no retaliation. Just keep, suck it up. Suck it up. Man, someone tell you, hey man, I was 400 years ago, man, just suck it up. Say it's 400 years ago, that's where they come with that, right? So every one of you to suck it up. Oh, no, sisters. Still here. There you go. Starting to get the picture, brothers and sisters. So their aim is because during that 40-year period, man, they was taking stuff from us. They had us producing gold for them. That's capitalism, maximum profit, minimum overhead. So and they was giving us shit. We out there in the fields working their ass off, so you can have pina coladas and cornbread and biscuits and wine and fruit and stuff. Well, they're feeding us shitlings, and that's exactly what they called it back then. They took the S off and put the C because they figured, hey man, you ain't gonna figure it out. And people still buying that crap because Walmart still sell it. So somebody's buying it. And that's what it is, shitlings. And then feed it on the plate. They fed just like a hog. And that's Oprah, she got a whole thing out there. I give her that much. There's for letters or something like that there, slavery letters call it, where they went and interviewed slaves before they died back in the 20s, before they was all gone. And they said, no, they fed you different. They fed you the same way they fed hogs. They had a trial they put in there, and sometimes you're lucky if you didn't waste time to cook it. And that's where cow chips came from. When you eat potato chip and stuff, the idea came from cow chips. Man, I'm hungry. Well, you better, you work your ass to death. And they fed you in the morning or maybe at night. It's like a pig, same way. You ain't had no fireplace and all that shit they show in these damn stupid movies. You didn't have that. I know, because I talked to some of my grandparents before they passed away. They told me how they locked them up at night. Locked them in a little room, wasn't big, smaller than a small bathroom, like one of those bathroom things you go into. And they put the whole family in there and locked it. If you had to go to the bathroom, you don't top each other to make sure you didn't run at night. And no floor, nothing, no heat. All you get, I had to keep yourself warm. Everybody. So anyway, they trying to clean it up. But you out there doing it, and they fed you shitlings, and beat you and torture and rape you and all that kind of stuff, right? And while all the time you used to produce the gold for them. They take the gold, right? Like you go and eat cornbread and muffins and cake and all that shit, right? And then what happened? Then you take a shit, and then you give us a shit, and we eat that shit, nigga. Go out there and pick me some cornbread. That's exactly what it was. They call it a symbiotic relationship, and I'm not exaggerating. But if you read the Bible, read in there. I think it's in Isaiah. It says, "Your people will eat human shit." It's in there. And then Son of Man, and then they so, well, okay, Son of Man, we're going to spare you from doing that, right? See, you eat cow shit. Spare them from eating human shit, And that's what cow chips are. I'm gonna grab one of them cow chips over there. That's why we put so much salt and pepper and all that stuff that get past the taste. They don't want you to know that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna put this all together for you. That's what capitalism is. Imagine, they didn't have capitalism before so-called slavery. Did you know that? Check it out. Because slavery was capitalism. And they separate term, but slavery was capitalism. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. Get a maximum out of you without paying you anything. And that's what right now, because now you're an employee and you still slave. You Harriet Tubman said if she would have freed more if they knew they were slaves. But then slavery down in the field when they was feeding you shit. How do you think you don't know it now? You wasn't doing no 9 to 5 before you came over here. You weren't running no Social Security and that kind of crap. You wouldn't have no mortgages. And you wouldn't sit around running around bones your nose either. I can prove it. Anyway. But now, okay. So that's the grace. So long as they was doing that, man, you was producing gold for them, everything's great for them. Because no consequence. They was having party. Party. As long as you was, see? And so they gave you their mind. So you say, I ain't home help. See? They made you love to do it. They got you, fix your mind. Remember, because when somebody hates you, they change you or they get rid of you. When you hate something, you change it or you get rid of it. Right? So if you're gonna change it until you get it to where you want it to be. And they did. So the more you hate it, the more you're gonna change it. They changed us 100%. 100%. Took a name, culture, religion, everything. That shows they hate you. If you start changing back to what they hate, then they're gonna come back against you. Because your name is Patricia Greenblatt. I want to tell you my name is now Miriam Abdul. And watch how fast you lose that job. How fast you get your ass out of there. How fast homeless with that. There was a place where there was homeowner association, whatever. How long? Throw your ass out of there. I'm Muslim now. Oh, really? Because that's why I say good morning. Then you're gonna make sure you, a good nigga, you still got the cross on. You still call yourself Patricia Greenblatt. Still eat pork. All the things they put. They never know you still got control you. But you stop doing that stuff. All of a sudden they want to know what's going on with you. You understand? That's why we're going to get to it in a minute. So they don't want that grace period to go over. And they fear, because remember, Jefferson, what that thing Jefferson said? His heart trembled when he reflected that God is just. That means he expects there's going to be a consequence sooner or later to what they're doing. But they had a grace period, so everything was grace. Cool, calm. Like a hurricane, right? Saying that you're in the middle, you can say, if you're right in the center, man's kayak, you can lay back on your beach chair and drinking wine and partying and everything, because you and I is calm there, but outside is terrible. Anyway, the bottom line is, that's that grace period. And they've been suffering that they've been going 500 years. So that's why they got so powerful and everything else, because we kept giving them, turn their shit into gold. They got power. And there was no consequence. They wasn't paying for what they was doing. And they loved that. And they got power, more powerful. No consequence. Because if there's been a consequence, they would that would never happen. Okay, so now time, after 40 years, now time, they got a little warning, the damn start break with COVID. 2019 came around time, first plague, and it wasn't killing black people. Go check it. It wasn't killing people in Africa. They wasn't social, they weren't doing any of that stuff. Not in Haiti either. Okay? And I didn't do any of that stuff. Only thing that made me wear a mask, I go in the stores someplace, and I ain't catch COVID. I'm 76 years old now. Right? Anyway, so the resurrection means that's when the dam starts to break. Because now, right? You're free of that bind that told you don't retaliate, submit. You're only supposed to have 400 years. Because after that, the judgment will take place. Read the Abrahamic covenant. So that means when that dam breaks, that means all that consequence of 500 years is going to come down their ass. They don't want that. That's what they're watching. How you doing? Good morning. They look for any sign that dam is about to break. Any sign that dam is about to break, because they ain't going to let that happen. So Elijah came along after Master Muhammad taught him. He came along. Right? He started banging on that dam. Until they break it, just right. Let them know it's about time. Time is almost over. And when they realized what was going on, they said, "Oh, wait a minute, no," because that's telling them too. He says, "No," because remember, you was blind. You had two-dimensional mind. You even know that you was the dam. They took everything away from you. See? And well, let me tell you, I forgot about the part that love, had you love him. Because what did Christianity tell you? Love Master. If he beats you, love him more. Forgive him anything. You see the story there? And what religion, they don't do that. And what religion teaches something like that there? Love Master. Obey Master. Keep that dam going. The more he rape you and beat you, the more you love him. Keep that dam going. See? The whole idea is keep that dam solid from breaking. You get it, brothers and sisters? Keep that dam solid from breaking. Solid. So now you love eating shit and producing. You remember Django? You met Negro in there? That's no story. The guy's a demon, but that's no story. You know what I'm saying? So now that make sure it's secure. That dam is secure. That you wouldn't even think. That you wouldn't even think about breaking that dam, that consequence on them. You don't even think it won't even come to your mind. Right? Okay. So then Elijah stopped, boom, knocking on the door. Elijah, Master Prophet came and told him, bang on the door, hey, it's almost time. You ready? Oh, man. That woke them up to, hey, man, it's almost time. So they started plotting, how are we going to stop that? They knew they couldn't. They put him in jail, but they didn't put their hands on Elijah Muhammad. They knew better now because Master Muhammad would tore their ass up. That dam would have broke immediately. They knew. They better not hurt him any kind of way. They didn't. Because that's what Elijah Muhammad said. I go ahead, he tell Master Muhammad, I'll do his job. Just protect me and my family, and they did. And everybody hurt his family. Not one hair on his head. They put him in jail and everything else, but nobody met. In fact, the old timers told me, I was there from 1775. That's when I got in there. Right? I was in Chicago. I was there. And so I was a foreman in Muhammad Street newspaper, night foreman. And I used to talk to old timers because old timers there. There was one brother called his name was Supreme Allah. That was his name. Master Muhammad gave him that name. He was his skin was white. He was original, but it was kind of funny about him because he was original, but his skin was white. It was white as snow, and so he was always more aggressive because everybody looking at him. And they said, so he sold more paper than anybody. Made sure everybody understood that he was real original because back then, that was a big thing. Ain't nothing now but Farrakhan. But they would tell you how it was back there, right? So if he told me, what this brother Supreme Allah told me, he says when they put Elijah in jail during World War II, right? He said he converted the whole jail, even the warden. That's what he told me. So I never went. That's what he told me. Right? At any rate. They said they plotted. We got the thing. They said they plotted. So how we gonna stop this? Right? They knew they couldn't hurt him. They couldn't kill him or anything. Only attempt on his life was people that was his own relatives and stuff that people that was, when he took over, that's another story. He was a 7 year run because people that were, they didn't want to accept him, all that kind of stuff with that. This wasn't the devils. These was, anyway. Bottom line is that they're plotting. So they say, okay, we need to part. What we're going to do? Right? So they had to make sure that dam stay intact. See, and so what better? If you lose the master of it, well, the best thing you want to do is you want to find somebody that by nature, you want to find the devil. Get y'all. In other words, you want to get rid of this. These people that's knocking on there, Elijah Muhammad, people that's with him, that's knocking on that dam, starting to wake people up. You want to get rid of them. If you can't get rid of them, you want to neutralize them. Stop them knocking on there. So, the devil's, remember? So you want somebody to think the same way you think. Because Elijah Muhammad gave him a vision. See, before you didn't have no vision. If you study Exodus real close, you see that the only thing they had was hope. Doing the hard cards. That's all they had. They hadn't vision anything. Elijah Muhammad gave him a vision. Master Muhammad gave him a vision. He gave a vision. Right? Abrahamic covenant. We're going home. Right? And you got to start doing for self here, breaking their control over you. That process of a symbiotic relationship where they give us a shit and we give them the gold, say, stop that. You ready to go home. So he said, do for self. So that was, amen, they ain't producing shit for us. They ain't producing gold for us no more. And they ain't eating our shit. They produce the gold for themselves. Can't have that. Because that means if we stop producing gold for them, all they got is shit to eat. They don't want that. That's what it was in Europe before they came out. That's why they left Europe. Because all they had was shit to eat. They were so grabbed there. How can they come out here to come out and take around and stuff? So it can't, see, they got all the motivation to stop that. So it said the best, if we can't get rid of them, put the devil in charge. How are you going to do that? How are you going to get the devil in charge there? See, remember, wolves in sheep clothing? Now, a demon, and I'm not making up, if you read the scripture clearly, a demon is half man, half devil. That's where it comes from. Demon, half devil, half man. That means that's a skin folk. He's devil, but he's got black skin. That's why I said beware of wolves in sheep clothing. Okay? So they can fool us because they look like us, but their whole mindset is against us. That's the best thing you can do. And we got a whole lot of them because the devils was raping our women, and you are the seed of your father. That's biological. But they tell you, oh, well, now they're going to tell you, over there at Farrakhan place, see, after you bust them out. See, I busted them out years ago, and so now they changed the whole. Oh, it doesn't matter where your mother, father is. You got to make you in the womb. That's bullshit. Why you need sperm and egg then? You are with your father. You start out as a sperm, period. We're looking for an egg. The egg wasn't looking for you. The egg is not conscious. It just sits there. It's living material, but it's not alive. So you are with your father. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why Master Muhammad is original. Right? So they had to find somebody like that. And that's the case closed. It's like, for instance, here you are, and you look white, and you passing, like Mariah Carey or something. She's cool. I mean, she decided, but then she owns the fact that she's black, so I can give her that one. They ain't like, what's that guy, the Fast and Furious guy, what his name is? He got the fact that anyway, the bottom line is, if you somehow got control of Ku Klux Klan, and they thought you was white, but you was really black, well, one of the first things you would do, you want to tell them, right? And one thing he said, why don't we stop calling niggas? Let's just call them black folks, because it'd be good policy. They wouldn't know excuse coming. You see, stop shit like that. See what I'm saying? because you want to try to, but you don't want them to know it's coming. You can't be obvious about it. But your whole policy is to just defeat everything they was doing. Let's try to treat them nice now. Let's be brotherly with them and pretend we with them. And you know, when they think we really would, that's when we get them. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, had to get somebody like that. And how you know they got somebody like that? Because watch what the person does. I tell people I don't speak English anymore. I speak actionless. I don't hear a goddamn thing you're talking about. I'm gonna watch what you're doing. So, what would the person do? Well, we don't want to call devils devils anymore because they're devil. This black face. They don't call devils devils anymore because they don't call their father a devil. They don't want their children or their grandfathers a devil. They don't call them that. So they wouldn't call their devils devils no more. And remember, the Abrahamic covenant is the seed of Abraham. And they're the ones going to inherit the kingdom. But he ain't the seed of Abraham. We ain't going nowhere. He going to despise the covenant because he ain't going nowhere. It ain't for him. We ain't going nowhere. And remember, he's still wanted the process going on where we produce gold for them, employees working at Popeyes and all that stuff, $10 making these guys billionaires. He want to keep that going. So man, we don't need no economic program. We don't need no stores. We don't build anything. That's Wild's policy. That's what he said. They got that stuff. And you see, because when the Mester was here, I banked at the Mason's Bank. I lived in a Nation complex right there on 87th Street, I believe in Chicago. They owned the whole complex, beautiful place, rent was great. I shopped at Mama Speak News at your supermarket, Shabazz restaurant, your fish. Matter of fact, you worked with your fish market for a while, right? I was performing a night shift, hardly any kind. And Mama Speak, I almost zero contact with devils. We had our own. Don't have that now. Still making gold for the devils and eating their shit. All the people over there with Farrakhan, they ain't eat pieces of damn thing. Then he gonna curse them for doing that. That's exactly what they would do. So who is doing that? Why is that was his policies? We ain't going nowhere. Devils ain't devils anymore. We ain't producing no economic program. What is that? You see what I'm saying? That tells you right there. The other thing I didn't say, right? Remember, Elijah gave you a vision, you had to kill that vision. See, this is the practical side. But what about the vision side? Okay. Back in the 30s, remember the Jews and the Christians been at each other's throat for 2,000 years. I mean, literally. They came so-called final solution back in the 30s, they was going to wipe them all out, so-called Holocaust. Wipe them all out. And everybody was on board with it. Wasn't any European country trying to help them. None. In fact, the ones that escaped Germany come over here on the boats, they turn the boats back around. And then suddenly, oh man, they love each other. They kiss each other's ass and everything else, man. How did that happen? Because they had to kill that vision. No, see, they're the true Abraham. And they set false Israel in 1948. See, that's them. Because Elijah Muhammad said it was us, and we had the proof. We got time here, everything was said, just like the scripture says. Because it said whenever you take captivity in boats, in ships, it said that's what it said. You don't tell you need a ship to go from where they say it was in Jerusalem to Egypt. And in fact, if that was true with them, right? You think Egypt is a strange land from Palestine? That's a strange land? Okay. You live in New York, you think Canada's a strange land? Come on. Anyway, so they set false Israel. to kill the vision. You see the piece that's fall together? So he had to do that to nullify what Elijah was saying, and then had to send a demon in, right? Because he admits his father's the devil. I got proof. Now they're trying to soften his light-skinned Jamaican. Jamaican's nationality is not your ethnicity. You got a lot of people in Jamaica. There's Indians. They call themselves Jamaican, Indian, and in fact, the guy that used to run Jamaica was the president. He was a devil for, I don't know if who's running it now, for years. Anyway, that's just your nationality, not your ethnicity. And you got people here in America, Hindus, and you got Chinese, everything else. They call themselves Americans. Well, that's their nationality, not their ethnicity. Anyway, that's another story. So now, they watching, they see time for the resurrection. They got to stop that. Then you understand, because remember, false Israel was the innocent to keep you from knowing who you are. And they got all the preachers on board with that. That's why they killed Martin Luther King. They told you, they told him, warned him. So nobody said, and Saka talked about like the abomination desolation is going on right now. It tells you that would precede it. And that's what's going on right there right now. If you guys look at it, what it is, it says, if you look at the word, the root word of abomination, abominable, it says the uprising was put down with great cruelty. Isn't that what's happening over there? I told you, go out there, look 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I told you exactly what's happening right now in detail, not watch the weather stuff. Right? Okay. So, and I said, once this war starts, that's the beginning of apocalypse, and that's going to trigger Armageddon, which is a European war, which is going to happen in a few more days. Now, what I'm telling you right now, right, we're going to be home next year. What I'm telling you right now is this war that's going on right now is what I'm telling you right now, so you can put it in the bank. You can come back and tell me later on, you're a fool, you know what I'm talking about. This war will last all to the end of the year. And America will be involved. And Israel will be taken. I mean, just read that, for instance. It says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, I'm quoting it, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know its destruction is near. It's destruction. Who controls Jerusalem? Falls Israel. It means their destruction, but they ain't, how come you, that's what it says? But that's not what they telling you. Oh, it's got Palestinians. No. Anyway, phase 2 is I'm going to talk tomorrow because I'm going to show you the scripture to back up. But this war is about you. Because you say, well, why is America fighting? Remember, they was hating each other. Well, they put them there to keep us from having that vision, because that was catching, Elijah was growing. Islam was growing, expanding. I mean, he owned Newark. I think the mayor out there right now has got a Muslim name, don't he? I don't know what his politics is. He owned Newark, pretty much owned Philly too. I mean, he was spreading. And even if you wasn't a Muslim, you wasn't a Muslim Elijah, you were sympathetic to it. Then you had the 5%ers and all, Israelites. You understand? All us, offspring of Elijah Muhammad's teachings. So it's growing. People starting to wake up. So that's why he said falsehood up there. So you kill that vision. That's why America's all in, even though they really hate them people, and the Jews hate America too, because Jews, they know that they're only there to be used to keep us from finding who we are. They know that. That's why they do what they're doing, because they know once they get rid of us, because if they can't keep us down, they got to get rid of us. They don't have no choice. Because we the revenge, we the vengeance. Because once we lose, that dam breaks, that's their ass. So if they can't keep that dam locked down, they got to get rid of us. That's the bottom line, that's what the scriptures say. You understand? So the thing is, That's why the vision's up there. And that vision goes down, all of a sudden, we see who we are. See, a vision unites people. That's the purpose of vision, unite people. Our people not united now because they got all these American dream vision, reparations vision, Christian vision, some on boot. That's why because we don't have a common vision. But if we understand who we are and the common vision, that's why I said we come together immediately as a seemingly great army. So that's why they make sure we never have a vision. So as far as they talk about, I ain't talking about you, because you ham. You're sinful. And ain't what any of Farrakhan saying? You're sinful. How we not sinful? We don't have to toll for a goddamn thing. That's him, because he's one of them. So the thing is, that's just what. That's why they won't. Even though they hate them, they back them 100% because they know they gotta keep that vision up there to keep us from ever getting it. And it's getting harder and harder. America going bankrupt to maintain false Israel up there. And that false Israel, they know that once they get rid of us, they're gonna get rid of them. And they know they're gonna let Iran do it. See, this gets a little deeper here. So I'm gonna get a little deeper here in a minute, right? They know that, and so they know the only option they got. See, because they know if they are the true state, which they're not, Arabia is the real homeland. That's why they had that thing about the seven. We got to take out this country, that country, because the object is to take Arabia, and they're stupid over there because they don't know. The only reason why they even take it because they anywhere in the world they would try to do that. They'd have every Muslim in the world, they were crippled, blind, crazy, whatever, on their ass if they try to attack Arabia. They know that. See? Shia, everybody after them. See? So they have to weaken all those countries, or everything around it, before they go and take Arabia. But they know they can never do it while Iran is there. And so they've weakened all the countries now. That's why it's a 7-point program. So, and now, they got to take out Iran. Iran's the only thing that's stopping them from taking over the whole Middle East. That's the only thing that's stopping them. So Arabia can't stop them. They run over there like a piece of cake. Because if they get Arabia, that whole region, then the devils can't take them out. Once they take us out, why? Because then they got nuclear weapons, and plus they control what fuels the West. This whole reality. Oil will fuels it. Without this, whole thing dries up. So they got control of that. They got nuclear weapons. So they can start. So now they can stand toe to toe with these devils. In fact, they can put them on their knees, especially Europe, because they totally depend upon that oil. And so they say they won't charge you $5 a barrel, or they charge $1,000 a barrel. That's their plan. That's why they force them. They know America has to protect them because the whole idea is America's got to stay behind because America can't afford them to go down because with that vision we come in, we would unite. So they know they got time. They got to move this thing fast. Because if we're about to be resurrected, that means they got to take us out. When they take us out, they don't need false Israel anymore. And so they won't back them, and then everybody come in and take them apart. That's why they want to have nuclear weapons, then they get control of that, so now they can stand toe to toe with the devils. If you understand, that's what's going on. I've got a whole presentation I explained this months ago, before this happened. That's what's going on there. I'm trying to get you to understand what's happening here. That's why America's all, everybody said, why are they backing false around like that? Why are they backing them? Even though to Christians, Jesus told them they was lies. He says, those who say they're Jews are not. They're synagogue say so. And Jesus denounced them too. They hate them, but they can't say it because they need them to keep us blind. But temperature's getting hotter. See, because that dam is starting to crack. That's too much pressure on it. Black folks start, hey man, right? And they don't have to be hold back anymore. And they start, so black folks start be assertive, right? And so that's why everything's pushing real fast. And so how side? Why they side with America and everything? See, because they could have stopped false Israel and nipped it right in the very beginning. It's like 100 to 1 over there. It was like 3 or 4 million so-called Jews in there, and they had like 500 million Arabs around. Why they didn't do it? Because they want to false themselves too. Because that's our land. They don't want us to know who we are either. They don't want to betray us. Because we come back for that land. They paying Farrakhan to stop them from thinking about you going back there. That's our land. We're going to take it back. We're going to have it back by next year. Figures at bank. I got a 35-year track record. So if I'm wrong, then y'all shut me up next year. You just play this here and that. I had to go hide in my corner somewhere. I'll be home by next year. See, all nations are complicit to this. So that's why false is doing what it's doing. It's pushing. It's got to take Iran out because Iran is the only thing that's stopping them from taking control of the Middle East. And once they control the Middle East, then they got America behind and the Europeans who hate them. That's what's going on in the background. So America's got to protect them, and that's why forces are pushing it, and so there's a dilemma going on there. And so they're going to get involved because forces are getting his ass kicked right now. They hide, and this media's all messed up and everything else. So they get involved, and that's just a war in heaven. It's already broke out already. Read chapter 12, the war. It's happened. That's what's going on right now. And this war is going to last. It's going to get worse and worse. Next week is going to be a lot worse than it is right now. Probably it's going to get worse dramatically. Dramatically. Every day you see it's going to get worse dramatically. Because right now, Trump's talking, hey, we're going to get involved. He's going to kill their what do you call it? Ruler, or what do you call it? Right? So it works every day, so you can take it back. And then what happens is that America and Britain is going to be defeated. It says, and I'm going to show that tomorrow because I'm going to show today the scriptures, and false Israel is going to be surrounded. And they're under siege. And America and Britain will not be able to help it because they got thrown out of the military, they got thrown out of Afghanistan, but they're going to throw out red hot. When they go out, their ass could be on flame because they're going to be the mercy for them. When they run their ass out, all their bases and everything in there, that's going to happen very soon. Run back to Europe. That's what the war going to go on in Europe. Well, I'll go into a little more detail, right? That's what you're going to see. I'm giving you blow by blow, not watch the weather stuff. Okay? So yeah, America, Trump's going to get the same man. He got to do it because as far as it's is on the brink right now. And so that's why they got to get involved because they can't let false Israel go down. You understand the problem? They can't let false Israel go down, right? That's it. They can't let it go down. And false Israel know they got to take Iran out because they got to control the Middle East. What's going on? Now you understand what's going on in the background here. They can't let false Israel fail. They'll go in and they'll get their ass kicked. And the other thing you're going to see is that now Master Muhammad is going to show his hand. Now how he show, I don't know, but it's going to show his hand. Because it says Michael and his angels. Michael's Master from Muhammad. He's going to be the one to deliver us, right? You ask Pharaoh, he don't even know that. To my God, he talks to God, right? The God of this world, the Satan. He said he'd be, son of perdition would be after the works of Satan. That's an old story. We'll get there maybe tomorrow. That's the dilemma going on right now. But anyway, that's the words. It's going to advance. Right? Iran's going to be taken, it's going to be bombarded, continuously bombarded, tearing the place apart. So this is what the media is saying here, because they tell you, they make it like nothing happened. They right now Iran know it's opposite. And so America has to get involved to keep forces going down, because we got to keep that false vision up there. And then America's defeated. The base, they have to force it out of there on fire. That means false Israel is isolated. And when they isolated, right, they're going to be cut off from water, electricity, everything else. And that's what, that's Amalek. Because now the Palestinians are going to do to them as they done to them. But they ain't going to do it right away. They're going to seize it and close it. I'm telling you how it's happened. They're going to take a siege, so they're going to cut off anything going in, because they get all that stuff from neighboring countries, water, cut them off. So then they're going to go into cannibalism. Super cannibalism, I tell you. So they're going to be so bad, the father eat the son, and the son eat the father. That's what's happening there. And they're going to have drones fly all over, so the whole world can see. Because what they're doing, I said, they're writing their own obituary. Because what they're doing to the so-called Palestinians now, that's what's going to happen to them. What they're doing to them, it's going to happen to them. And they have no help. America and Britain will not be helped because they're kicked out. And that siege is going on for whatever, right? And then when America and Britain comes to the conclusion, because as far as they're going to be trying to fight, but when they realize that there's no fight left and they just total chaos, cannibalism and everything else, America will realize, because remember Chris keeps saying, when they down there last nail, they down there last whatever toenail or whatever, that's Jesus gonna come and save them. When that's obvious, that's not true. Everybody come disillusioned. And at that point they realized false Israel, because they've been lying to the people, all this so-called Christian and everything else, some of them know the truth. And they realized Jesus come and save them, then they ain't. And that's the shock of the hour. Because if they ain't, then we must be. And I'm gonna read that, what it says about that in a minute. And then I'm gonna close. Because they're gonna go into shock. And that's why they're gonna attack us. Because now they're gonna realize that we're the true seed, and now the vengeance, the dam is breaking, and that's when they're gonna attack us. That's why I say flee. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, at that point, his destination is near. Flee. Why you gotta flee like that? Because they're attacking you. They said if you got a baby in your house, don't go. You can't go in your house to get your baby. It's gonna be so sudden, so fast. So you can't go in your house. So you got your baby in the house. You can't go. So if you go, both of your baby gonna die. They'll come at you so viciously and so quick. Say flee immediately. Don't waste time. Don't make call nobody or nothing. Just flee. But you gotta have that amount of information to know to do that. And that's what you're getting from me right now. And the message come has to put this information out there for you. And it's gonna be more. In 4 more days, it's gonna really spread. So I ain't worried about that. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Because that's when they're gonna attack you. Because now they say, damn, it's all but broke. That's what they're gonna attack you. That's why I tell you, you don't want to tell them to flee. See? Flee to where? You'll know when the time comes. And then that's where it's going. And you under attack. See what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? You under attack. And now, right? And now all the stuff they've been doing, right? Because you're under attack. But remember, when that goes down, that means now you got division. Because it's clear to you that that's why you come together, see the great army. What are you an army for? Because you're under attack, then you're at war. You're going to do them double they done to you. It comes together for you. Because now you got division. Oh, people come together. That's us. That's us. All this bullshit, separate Christianity. You know, hey, that's us. That's us. We're the seed of Abraham. Then you come together. A see the great army. We need army saying, see the great social club? Army. Why? Because you're under attack. Days of vengeance, it says. Who needs vengeance? Somebody's been oppressed, been wrong. Who's been wrong? Us. 40 years. Now it's days of vengeance. They have judgment. And so we're taking vengeance and what? On the way of going back home. There it is, brothers and sisters. That's a summary. I didn't think it would take this long to do it, but this one I definitely have to talk tomorrow because I got a lot of stuff, bro. So I gave the summary. This is the short version. Here's the covenant, Abraham covenant right here. I was saying, I get the sound off. This was talking about Abraham. Go out to read it. Now the Lord said, "Hey, Abram, get out of your country, from your family, from your father's house, and the land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curse you." Right? And you, all the families of the earth, shall be blessed. Okay? That last line right there, I'm going to explain it to you. Well, it says, see? So the thing is, you're going to be blessed. And those that bless you are going to bless you, but they've been cursing you for 400 years. See? Those that curse you will be cursed. They've been cursing you for 400 years. Now, they're going to suffer the consequence of that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's read this. And see, this is Jesus saying, so these are Christians. So what? That's what it tells you. They're not with the Jews out of religion. There's something else going on here. Go look at this. This is right in their Bible. They all know this. And Jesus says, those Jews who believed on him, if you continue my word, then you are my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and we never in bondage to any man. How say you we should be free? They saying, remember, this is 2,000 years ago. Now, so-called bondage, so-called bondage, right, in Egypt was supposed to be 4,000 years ago. But they said that never happened to them. They tell you that they tell you right there, they ain't see Abraham. Why did they put it in there? Jesus calling them out. So this is a little further. They said it right there. And Jews, they know this. That's why it was getting rid of them Jews to begin with. They call them Christ killers. Then answered and said to him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said to him, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. Are they doing the works of Abraham? Genocide, murder, rape? Who works in that? Those works of Satan. He said, no one by their works. What works are they doing? What's the works of these Christians? And what's the works of these Jews? They claim they're Jews, right? But ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I heard of God, and this did not, and this is not Abraham to do this kind of stuff. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we are not born of fornication, we have one father, even God. They call it fornication, right? And Jesus said to him, if God was your father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came forth from God, neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? You're of your father the devil. So Jesus cursed them. So how can he tell you those that bless Israel will be blessed? He cursed them right now. If there was real Abraham, see, he said, no, you ain't. And you go into Israel, it says, Revelation says, no. Those who say they're Jews are the synagogue of Satan, so they're lying. And the Christians know this, so that's why he was getting rid of it. But now I said, why do they love him so much? I told you it's not about Scripture, because no Scripture verifies that. It's about keeping you blind to who you are. Your father's devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and bold not in the truth. Right? Mission shed blood, because there was no truth in him. When he spaketh of his own. That means his nature to be wicked, evil. Make me shed blood, that was nature. Right? He speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And he came, I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which if you convince me of my sin, if I may say, why do you not believe me? He that is of God hears God's words, and therefore hears them. You hear them not. Therefore you are not of God. Christians know this house is why they're with them, because they know it's not about religion. It's about keeping you blind to who you are. And look, I'm gonna close out in a minute. See, watch this. This is what's happening before your eyes, brothers and sisters. I'll give you a better picture of it. That's the vision right there. So That's false river setup. Uh-oh. They take it out. Now the true vision that bring us together. Come together. You see the Grand Army. Take vengeance ours. Right? So doing them as double done to you. That's what they're trying to stop. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about you. It's all about you. Hope I got you to understand. Oh, let me say a couple more things here and I'm close. See here? See this clown right here? Now, Elijah Muhammad is not a dummy, but he's using it as a dummy. Now, follow this closely. If you're a ventriloquist, right? You had a dummy talking, but what's the dummy saying? He's saying your words, not his words. You don't have any words. So he's saying, what he's saying here is Farrakhan's words. Devils ain't devils anymore. We ain't going nowhere. Right? Those are Farrakhan's words, right? But Farrakhan put words in his dummy's mouth, which he called Elijah Muhammad's not a dummy, but he's using it as a dummy. So the words come out his mouth. Then with Farrakhan, see, the devil set this up. It's a psychological thing. They've been studying for 40 years, right? Because they're too stupid. And Farrakhan's incapacitated right now, and Ishmael are too stupid. Come, but this is a little too deep for them. But you see the power of it? Because now he's teaching us what Elijah says. But Elijah's just saying what he was saying. So he's really just telling his word, but he's using Elijah as the fall guy. Say, oh, that's Elijah's word. No, it's his words. He put in Elijah's mouth. And so now you think, I'm with Elijah. I'm following Elijah. No, you ain't. You're following yourself. You're using Elijah as the fall guy. You understand? You get it? That's what he's doing. Elijah never said that crap he's saying. That's why all of a sudden now it's Elijah and Farrakhan together. Before it was just Farrakhan, right? Right? So he said, I'm saying with Farrakhan. And he come and say like that stuff that said Sunday. That stuff ain't Elijah. Elijah never said stuff like, what was that one thing he was saying about I forgot the one thing he was saying. I forgot. Elijah never said no crap like that. He put those words in Elijah's mouth, and then he say, oh, see, I'm saying what Elijah said. Yeah. Then we said that's words you put in Elijah's mouth. Understand, brothers and sisters? I got all kinds of tricks for you.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our Bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, Bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah. Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community, Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations, said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked.
That's his daddy. Google it.
Son of perdition. Now, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, son of perdition. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. Remember ye not, that, when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
I'll talk about this more later. The bottom line is the falling away would take place. That's the falling away of nature Islam, and then the person who took over will be son of perdition. He reigned 42 years according to Daniel, right? And that's exactly what happened. But now Farrakhan, he says, this is his quote now. He says that because he's exposing who the synagogue of Satan is, and everybody's falling away. But what it says here, it says, "Be not deceived. The falling away will come first." Farrakhan said, no, it's coming now after he's exposing synagogue of Satan. So it tell you, if somebody's telling you otherwise, they're deceiving you. That's what it says. Be not deceived. The falling away will come first. They make it clear. He said, no, I'm exposing the synagogue of Satan. Now they're putting falling away. Anyway, let's move on, brothers and sisters.
So long till they don't know the birth record, till they just antiquity. This is the so long till they don't know the birth record, so they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong, but he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days.
Okay, brothers and sisters, hold 1 second, and then we'll close out. Okay, brother, I'm gonna close out. There's a lot more. I got see all these different slides show here, but all these topics. I'll be here 2 or 3 hours covering all of this. But just what you just said right here. Just think about that. Now remember, Ishmael is compromised too. because his wife, mother is a devil. So he don't want to have his children calling their grandmother a devil. You see what I'm saying there? He may be Elijah's son, but his, and first one of Farrakhan's sons married to the devil. See, that's how the devil compromise you. See, they don't even have to know what they're doing. You send somebody in with that, and they're going to do the job for you. You want your house built messed up, send a pig in there. You're going to do his thing, but it's going to clean. He want to send me your enemy's house, right? Send him in there. He's going to just tear it up because that's his nature. Okay? But listen to what he's saying. You can't worship God because he's flesh. And that's a core idea of it. Again, core. God's a man. Can't eat anything other than a man. No, you can't worship Master Rahman because he's flesh. Okay, so that means you're back to mystery God again. How you know it's a mystery? Because he prays. So who's he praying? Who's he praying to? It's a mystery. So he's not a God. He's praying to somebody. And worse than that, he praying to the originator was 72 trillion years dead. But it's even worse than that. He ain't tell you to pray to him. He prayed to his remembrance. You're praying to a remembrance. Anyway, brothers and sisters, it's time to go home. That's why the messenger comes here. It's a free gift. A free gift. You had to pay me. You already made your sacrifice. You already paid for this gift. Hard cost. You paid for it. Now it's up to you to reclaim the ticket. Nobody's going to force you to do it. Claim your reward. You ain't got to pay me a dime. I never asked you anything. Right? I'm here to get information, to get you home if you have to decide whether you want it or not. It says Allah will lift you up if you clean this earth. You want to clean this nonsense? This American dream? Go ahead. That's your business. It's a free gift. So you got to pay Farrakhan, and now all of a sudden, when hell is breaking loose up playing, God told him to be quiet. Now, if he's supposed to be the anointed one, the messenger, and all that kind of stuff, why in the hell everybody lose? Be quiet? No? House going on fire, going on fire. Then when the fire comes, don't tell nobody, because he don't know. He's a liar. Watch the weather. I told you in detail what's going to happen, brother. It says detail. So I can't come back later on and say, you got to record it. I said, no, I told you in detail. And you can go back and check my presentation for years, and I'm saying the same thing. I ain't changing anything, get more detail. So this war's getting worse. It's like I said, it's going to go all the way up to the end of the year. And it's going to get constantly worse. America and Britain is going to be involved pretty soon. You'll get the ass kicked. See? But he's telling you, guys, and I got other stuff to back up what I was saying, but well, guys, because in other words, if Master Muhammad is praying to somebody, he can't be flesh, can he? Because he can't worship God's flesh. If he's praying to somebody, Farrakhan told you it was, and he's praying to remembrance, and that's core message. What's core message, Elijah? The vision of going home, right? Abraham the covenant, God's a man, do for self, devils are devils, and he's killed every one of those ideas, every one of them. But he's putting those ideas in the voice in Elijah's mouth, and they're saying, well, yeah, Elijah's not talking that stuff. His code gets his whole total program, and that didn't prove it to you. So like I said, but if you're a devil, you ain't going to respond to that. If you're a demon, you don't respond to it. If you're someone who loves this world's life, you don't respond to it either. But I'm not worried, because it says you're gonna wake up in a minute and you come into me, or you come here. I'm gonna give you the information you need to get home. And once you get home, you're on your own, because I don't want to. I've done my job. Now I want to go in and be with my beautiful woman. Because right now I'm taking a lot of time I would be spent with her and spend with you. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.